Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
Literally just said, be careful when you're running down here.
Law enforcement in one Minnesota city is warning women especially to avoid cranking up your music when you head out for a run. In the last week, 3 women have been attacked in Rochester.
This latest attack was a teenager out for an evening jog, able to fight off a man who grabbed her. Valley News Team's Bradford Eric finds it all comes down to your awareness.
Every morning you wake up and you suit up. But we're not talking this kind of suit. We're talking shorts and tennis shoes. You're ready to pound the pavement. And when you're getting ready to head out for your morning run, we often slap these guys in our ears, earbuds. But is putting these in your ears really the best and safest way to go about it?
I wouldn't say it's the wrong thing to do. I think you have to be smart with how you do things. Yes, running is the greatest stress reliever in the world.
Clay Twigg says it's fine to fire up a podcast or jam out to Beyonce. Just don't turn it up so loud you can't hear what's going on around you.
You know, you're going out for a run, you are very vulnerable. Even if you run on a road and there's a car, you're not going to win that battle any day of the week. It doesn't matter.
I like to listen to music. It helps me walk a little bit faster.
Gabrielle says she takes her lunchtime stroll with a side of tunes, but she never feels unsafe or unaware.
I'm young, so something could happen, but just being aware, I think, is important.
All 3, Clay, Gabrielle, and Allison, said the same thing. It comes down to your awareness while getting your sweat on. Fargo PD says lessen the chance you'll be a victim and don't make yourself an easy target. Bradford Eric, Valley News Live.
We have a link to more information from Fargo Police posted online. Just click on this story at valleynewslive.com.
A leisurely walk near Ribfest in Fargo turned into quite the scare for a woman earlier today. Check out this video sent to us by a viewer. You can see a white SUV trying to make a left turn, and that's when a truck smashes into the tail end of the SUV. And a woman standing at the crosswalk disappears from view. You can later see her jump back out of the way, and we're showing this one more time, slowed down a bit. The person who sent us this video says he caught the close call on his dash camera on the corner of University Drive and 19th Avenue North.
After a wild day of weather yesterday, the National Weather Service is now shedding some light on the tornadoes that hit the Northern Valley. It's confirming there were 5 tornadoes in all. 2 of them were rated EF zeros. So is there more severe weather heading our way? Let's check in with Robert Hahn on what we can expect tonight. Robert?
No severe weather tonight, but as we head through the latter portions of tomorrow, we could see some severe storms roaming through the valley. Those 2 tornadoes that were rated both EF0, the one 6 miles south-southwest of Inkster, North Dakota, peak winds 70 miles per hour. The other one near Hatton, also rated the EF0, peak winds 80 miles per hour. That was on the ground for 8 minutes. But right now, it's quiet out there. It's warm out there with temperatures ranging from the mid to upper 70s into the lower 80s with partly to mostly sunny skies across the area. Winds generally light across the region, and they'll stay mostly light as we head through the overnight hours. Just a few clouds out there, and underneath what few clouds we do have no precipitation, none anticipated tonight or through the first half of your Friday. Here in Fargo, get out and enjoy the evening. It's going to be a nice one with temperatures slowly falling through the upper 70s at 7 and 8 o'clock and into the mid 70s at 9. As mentioned, that risk for severe storms goes up as we head towards the latter portions of your Friday, and we got the weekend right around the corner. How's it looking? We'll let you know the answers to all that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Robert.
You got it.
A 10-year-old was sent to the hospital after being attacked by a pit bull in Douglas County, Minnesota earlier this week. So we decided to investigate how often dog bites occur. In just over a week's time, the Grand Forks Police Department has responded to 8 different animal bite calls. They say a majority of those are dogs. They do say that's more than they usually see. They also say the majority of those bites happen at the dog park.
A lot of the bites that we will deal with are dogs that you're not familiar with. Typically, they occur outside.
Police say they take dog bites seriously, but a vast majority of the bites they see are considered minor. The best way to protect yourself around an aggressive dog is to pull in your arms close to your body and widen your stance. You should try not to startle dogs and let them get comfortable with you before you try and pet them.
A man suffered possible life-threatening injuries after being run over by a tractor. It happened north of Hankinson before 9 this morning. Officers say 62-year-old Steve Blado of Mantador was baling hay and was run over after getting off the tractor. He was airlifted to Sanford Hospital in Fargo.
The final interview process has now wrapped up for those vying for the West Fargo police chief position. City Administrator Tina Fisk will now gather feedback from key staff to formulate her recommendation to present to the City Commission. North Dakota Highway Patrol Lieutenant Troy Hischer met with city and police staff today. The other finalist, FBI Special Agent Heath Yonke, had his interview yesterday. West Fargo city officials say additional interviews are not expected after this round. Fisk will hold an informal discussion tomorrow at noon at West Fargo City Hall with staff.
In Minnesota, law enforcement will now be mandated to take a minimum amount of crisis prevention training. It's part of a new law passed in the legislature and signed by Governor Mark Dayton.
Reporter Jay Olstead tells us why many say the training is so important.
Get on the ground! As more police officers come face to face with people in crisis.
Come to the door now with your hands up.
Starting next year, departments will get help training their officers on how to de-escalate what can often turn into a deadly situation.
The legislature and ultimately the governor signing this into law is a game changer for Minnesota law enforcement.
Maplewood Police Chief Paul Schnell is talking about a law that now mandates all Minnesota law enforcement have a minimum of 16 hours of training every 3 years on crisis prevention, specifically responding to a mental health crisis, de-escalation of conflicts, and diversity and implicit bias training.
You train to shoot and tackle people.
Many departments, including here in Brooklyn Park, already do at least some of the training, but now other smaller departments will be able to as well.
The money that will be starting in August of 2018 will actually triple the amount of money available.
Nate Gove is the executive director of the Minnesota Board of Peace Officer Standards and Training, also known as POST. It will be making sure departments are doing the training, but he says it won't be fully implemented for 5 years.
That's the reason for the incremental implementation, so we get it right.
Absolutely a good step.
Mental health advocate Sue Abderholden has encouraged law enforcement will have at least a minimum amount of crisis prevention training, and now hopes other first responders will follow.
My hope is that because of this training, we'll prevent those future tragedies.
The state will give law enforcement $6 million every year for the next 4 years to do that training.
Authorities are giving you a heads up that there may be some people you don't recognize wandering around your neighborhood. In a post on Nextdoor, Fargo police say that the Southwestern Advantage Group will be going door to door selling educational learning products. Now, this group is comprised of college-age students from Europe. Currently, there's one male from Estonia. Police say their post is to let people know that this merchant has a license to go door to door.
North Dakota Governor Gov Burgum was in the nation's capital today, along with other officials, to meet with President Donald Trump to discuss ways to improve the nation's infrastructure through partnerships. Burgum said it was a tremendous opportunity to advocate for North Dakota priorities and highlight the state's transportation, energy, and infrastructure issues to the highest office in the land. President Trump is predicting his infrastructure plan will take off like a rocket ship and promised the infrastructure projects would be, quote, under budget and ahead of schedule, something the government doesn't hear too much.
And have a cabinet that is pro-energy, pro-business, getting things done, pro-agriculture is absolutely fantastic. So great to be here and be part of it. Thought there was a true listening going on today, a true partnership, and we need to take the politics out of infrastructure because great infrastructure is good for everybody.
When asked whether he had any reaction to former FBI Director James Comey's testimony today, the president simply said thank you as reporters were escorted from the meeting.
North Dakota is one of 16 states defending President Trump's ban on travelers from 6 Muslim-majority nations. Attorney General Wayne Stenhjem, along with Republican officials from 15 other states, filed a brief with the Supreme Court earlier this week, stating that the order is needed to protect national security. The Supreme Court could rule on whether to lift the temporary stay on the president's travel ban within days.
An expensive remodel in East Grand Forks is not paying off. The city's pool will remain closed for at least a couple more weeks. Last year, the city poured $2 million into renovating their pool. This year, when they turned the water on, they discovered a broken pipe. Water flowed under the lining of the pool and ripped it up from the bottom. City officials tell Valley News Live crews need to break up the concrete to diagnose the problem. They say they don't anticipate repairs will cost taxpayers more. They're hoping insurance or warranties will cover the repairs, but say it's too early to tell.
Some folks in that neck of the woods hoping it gets fixed quickly.
Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah. The Red Cross wouldn't be as successful as it is without the help of local people. Later on Valley News Live at 6, a few of them were recognized for being heroes.
Yesterday, some severe weather made its way through the valley. Today, a quiet day. But tomorrow, a storm system off to our west will give us another round for severe weather. I'll have your forecast details on that, as well as a look at the weekend ahead, coming up right after this.